Where you at, spring? I am ready for ya. Oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd. Welcome to Dyeing Creativity. I'm Rachel Ann, and I'm so happy that you're here today to join me on my channel, which is fully dedicated to my sewing journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Today, I am breaking down a myriad of different spring tops, whether it's a little bit of a chillier spring day or it actually is a warmer spring day where you can wear your short sleeve shirt. So hopefully this video will be helpful for you if you have been wondering or searching for some cute spring patterns. Like I feel like I eternally am. I'm always gonna share with you in all of my videos the patterns that I use, but then also I model each piece for you because I think it is so helpful to see what the tops in the dress look like on an actual human being. I think it can just help to inform a person's decision on whether or not they want to dedicate the time and energy to sew up the piece. Without further ado, let's get into this. I have to start with my first fabric I want to feature. This was actually a vintage tablecloth I found at the Pasadena Rose Bowl flea market, I think maybe a month or two ago. And I used Simplicity 9477 View A to sew it up. I could not be happier. Is it a touch too big? Yes, maybe, but at this point, I don't want to mess with this fabric anymore. I actually enjoy the oversized kind of blousey look. It'll be one where I can tuck that front portion of the top in if I need to kind of make it look a little bit smaller. I've had the best luck, honestly, with this pattern 9477 View A in particular, because it is such an effortless top that you can make in a variety of different fabrics, and it really comes together so beautifully. And I love this. I can't remember, somebody in one of my previous videos mentioned what kind of fabric they thought it was. It's almost a thin sweater knit type fabric, but I am so crazy for it. I think that it is gorgeous in a top. I want to frolic through a field of flowers. I want to go picking berries wearing this shirt. I just feel like a little garden fairy flitting around. It's such a pretty top and I'm very happy with it. But this pattern is great, especially if you're looking for a flowy top. It gets hot where you live. You don't like a lot of fussiness. This 9477 View A is your pattern. Moving on in to what I'm actually wearing for this video today. This was fabric I got from a local fabric store here in Southern California. It is called Pinatas. It's in Oxnard, and I love that fabric store. This is, believe it or not, Very Easy Vogue 9311. I started out wanting to make the full-length maxi dress with this material. I quickly realized it would end up being a knee-length dress if I went for the Very Easy Vogue pattern as it is. And so I decided, you know what, let me switch it up. I'm gonna actually make it into a top. Now, this pattern I have worked with many times. It should not have given me a run for my money, but it did. And to this day, I don't know why, but I think it was just because I did a marathon sewing day where first thing in the morning until the end of the night, I just worked on this piece. I ended up accidentally sewing one of the sleeves on inside out, so all of my French seam finishes were facing outwards. It was a hot mess, but I quickly corrected that, and now I couldn't be happier. It is such a fun, cute, professional top that you could wear to work, but also a really cute top that with the right shorts, with a knee-length skirt, I think it would be so pretty. I love the tie in the back. The darts on this one are not making my perfectionistic heart happy. I have considered ripping them out and re-sewing them. We will see what happens. The jury is still out on whether or not I need to cave into perfectionism and rip those seams out or just leave it be. Even though I've had this top done for the past several weeks, I still hesitate to go back and rework it. I'm scared it has some kind of weird curse on it or something. So for right now, I'm gonna leave it, but I'll continue to reevaluate. But if you did notice the darts kind of looking funky, trust me, I've also noticed the same thing. I don't know why it did that. I did all my usual tricks. Maybe it was the fabric, but it is what it is at this point. Let's move on to a tried and true pattern. You already know, Simplicity 9538. This is my go-to. It is my favorite peasant top pattern. Even though I've made it, this is probably my 6th time making it. It always ends up looking a little bit different each time in the best way possible in terms of the modifications that I'll throw in. So this particular time, I made an extra thick waistband. I did 2 pieces of elastic. One is about 1/4 of an inch, one is an inch piece because I wanted that chunky elastic around the waistband. Then I used a different material. I believe I got this from our beloved Joann fabrics. You know, I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But I got this fabric from Joann's a while ago, as well as this really pretty, it's like a very, very thin cotton sateen feel to it. Maybe a cotton shirting, like a poplin or something. But I immediately sewed this up because I bought these hot pink and white floral pants while my mom and I went on a little shopping spree when I was in Florida visiting her. Oh my gosh, I laugh every time I think about us basically taking over the store. She kept having me go in the dressing room to try out things that she wanted to see for herself. We laughed and laughed and laughed, had so much fun, but I picked up these hot pink pants I cannot wait to wear in the summer. Florida, when I come back for you, I'm wearing these hot pink pants with this whole outfit. So it turned out really cute. Quickly, I'll segue. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. All right, this is kind of a little, maybe a medium low type experience. I sewed up this yellow pleather skirt. Now, if you watched my channel, you saw the pleather yellow jacket I made. This was a huge learning curve for me. This pleather skirt, I ended up interfacing the entire thing. Mainly, I was just having fun. I self-drafted the skirt pattern. Do I like how it turned out? It's okay. It's all right. It's not my favorite. I'm gonna be the first one to admit it. So if you're staring at it in horror, trust me, I've also side-eyed the heck out of it. For now, I'm leaving it. I may end up turning that skirt into a bag since it's already interfaced. I think it would turn out being a really cute little purse versus the skirt. Because as it is now, I don't know. I don't foresee myself necessarily wearing it. We'll see though. But it was just one of those little fun things I just wanted to show you. You gotta try. You know what I mean? You gotta try new things when you sew. It's really easy, I think, to gravitate towards my same patterns, like my beloved Simplicity 9538 peasant top that I know the outcome. I know I'm gonna love it. It's so easy to do that, but I find that I learn the most when I push myself out of my comfort zone. It'll be a long time though from now before I pick up any more vinyl pleather material though. So I'm forever looking for cute spring tops, and I feel like a broken record at this point, but right now my style is very simplistic, non-fussy. I'm really gravitating towards a lot of solid colors. I just find that it brings me some peace and tranquility. Although once it starts warming up, then I start gravitating towards bright colors and prints. Maybe it's just, feeling that burst of energy and renewal with the warmer temps. Anyways, enough color analysis. This next pattern was New Look 6567 View G. And all I did was basically turn the dress into a top. I didn't have enough fabric to make the dress, and for spring, I, again, really wanted long sleeve basic tops because I find that they're perfect here in Southern California where it does get a little chilly. Not even chilly enough though for a jacket sometimes, but with the long sleeves, a pair of jeans, you're good to go. Effortless, throw on a necklace and you're out the door. This particular pattern, if you choose it, number one, I loved it, okay, disclaimer. Number two, I had to do some major fit reconstruction with that pattern. I took out probably 2.5 inches from either side because there was so much added shoulder length in it that even when I pre-measured the pattern, I was not anticipating the fit to be that funky. I do need to put a hot iron or steam it, so please bear with the wrinkles. You can see them in the video. I added the facing that it called for. I want to give a quick shout out to one of my lovely viewers who was so kind in her constructive criticism, but did say you need to start putting facings in your garments. I heeded her advice and it made a world of difference, okay? It was amazing. And so now I've worn this shirt several times and this particular viewer was spot on in that the facing, I finally figured out how to do it. You put the facing, but then you interface the facing so that you don't have issues with it being all floppy inside of the garment. At least that's how I did it. Hopefully that is correct. I'm gonna have to watch some more tutorials on putting facings into shirts. But for this particular kind of stretchy, I'm pointing over there because it's right here, beside me. But with that particular knit stretchy fabric that does stretch out the longer that you wear it, the facing changed the game. I may be a bit of a facing convert now, which sounds ridiculous. If a pattern calls for a facing, there's probably a good reason why they call for it. But I'm in my early stages, okay? I'm starting to really embrace the facing process. But shout out again to my viewer. Thank you for that. And I love the top overall. I'm happy with it. If you don't branch out, you never learn, okay? That's what I did with McCall's 8478 pattern to make this cute little vest. Of course, you know I had to majorly modify it. I used the scraps I had left from the tweed fabric. I used a little bit of yellow bias tape as a decorative element around the front and left the front open at the bottom just to give it a little zing, you know, just a little something to it. And instead of doing the buttons down the front, I did a side zip. Overall, I'm happy with it. I took a risk, I challenged myself. I worked very hard on this piece. It is extremely beautifully constructed. Look, I say that humbly speaking, but I really took time on it. Everything has been French seamed. I mean, look at that. Look how clean it is on the inside. That's the inner bias tape. And then I just left a little bit on the outside. There are no loose threads. This thing is gonna survive the apocalypse, okay? I mean, that is how detailed this sewing was. And then I did something a little funky. I used a separating zipper for the bottom because I just found it would be easier to slip on and off, which I know it's a little funky, but I wanted to just try something new again. And why not do it? To me, when you have scraps of fabric, it's low risk enough that if you mess it up beyond all repair, it may be slightly upsetting, but not as upsetting as it could be if you were using your real fabric. So put all those pieces together. Editing this in because previously there was about a 4-minute diatribe about how the cups of this cute little vest fit a little funky. I think they could be taken in about 1 inch. And I'm just curious what others' experiences have been with the big 4 patterns that offer different bust cup sizes. And if you size down or if you stay to your original size. These were a little bit off, but let me know your thoughts. So I made up another vest and I love it. I forgot to show you, I was gonna try to film a long sleeve bodysuit on underneath it and I forgot to, but that would be the other option on how to wear it. I really wanted a jean vest top. I think they're so cute. I love me a denim tuxedo, denim on denim, and I had found this patchwork fabric at Joann Fabrics. I bought these beautiful metal gold zippers off of Amazon, hunted high and low for the perfect zipper. I originally had a different zipper in, ripped that baby out when I came across these, sewed it back in, the new zipper back in, and this pattern was more or less self-drafted. Oh, okay, I always try to keep it real. Let me show you the first rendition of this top. So here is what the top originally looked like. I felt like a denim clown. I tried to style it to see if once I had, you know, the full gear on, it would look cute. No. The pattern was a vintage pattern. I'll put that up, the original pattern I used. It said nothing about using denim. It was all light cottons, very thin material, but me being me, I just have to do my own thing. And sometimes I've taken a gamble and not used the suggested fabric. Pattern turned out great. And so in my mind, I thought, well, I'm gonna do the same thing here. You don't wanna use denim for that shirt. Maybe a lightweight denim would be cute, but not this denim. It turned quickly into a clown-like situation. At this point though, I love this little vest. I think it is so cute. I actually have somewhere that I want to wear it to in this next week. And I think it's super funky. It's a kind of retro vibed, funky, and I'm happy with it. So you never know what'll turn out from a mistake that you make, learning from it. That was the first time I have ever sewn with denim. So it was fun. I used my denim needle and I can't wait to work with more denim in the future. So I also had found this beautiful fuzzy lightweight sweater knit material at Pinatas in Oxnard, and knew in my mind I was going to convert this Simplicity 9230 pattern to make the perfect boat neck, slightly slouchy, oversized sweater. I self-drafted the sleeves and ended up hacking the top of that pattern off to make it a boat neck. Truth be told, I'm never gonna make this pattern again as it is. And so I had great success, great luck in hacking the top of it off to make that nice little boat neck, and whipped this up in maybe an hour and a half. So I'm really happy with that. I don't really have too much else to say about that except hack your patterns, especially if it's a pattern that you know you're probably never gonna sew up again. I liked the Simplicity 9230 as it originally was, but I only ever made it one time. I've never gravitated towards it since then until I had this opportunity to reuse that pattern and make it into something I love. Now I will reuse it because I love a cute boat neck, flowy, oversized top. Now you may have seen what I call the teddy bear set. It was like a fuzzy sweater knit fabric in one of my previous videos. I was so in love with Simplicity 9925 pattern that, you know, I sewed it up again in this gorgeous coral lightweight sweater knit, also from Pinatas in Oxnard. Love this pattern. I will sew it again and again. Whether you want to omit the one shoulder top and just sew up that cute little oversized cardigan, or you want the matching set like I always do, it is, to me, such a perfect little easy sew. Not much to it. Let me grab the top though real quick and I'm going to show you something. Now, fresh off of the comment from my lovely viewer, I also did my facing. I did also interfaced it with a thin interfacing that matches the weight of the fabric itself. Okay, see, I'm learning. I had done a little bit of study on that, and it has made all of the difference. Okay, so when I wear this, it doesn't get all stretched out around the neck. I wore it in Florida. There was a weird cold snap while I was there, and this was perfect. Wore this baby all day, had no issues with it getting stretched out. And so I am so happy to be inserting those facings when I need to. And this Simplicity 9925 is definitely a pattern where the sweater knit, I think, could very much benefit from that facing and then the lightweight inner facing. Then you have the cute little top, and it just has elastic. In fact, I added the elastic. To this date, I have never actually read through the instructions on this pattern. The only time I did was to reference whether or not I needed to insert the facing and the inner facing, and you did. Other than that though, I hope I'm not steering you wrong here, but I insert elastic both around the sleeve, and then I just do the little bias tape, insert the elastic into it, and then I also do it around the neck. Because again, this fabric, if I would not have put a lightweight elastic, you know, where it's not too tight, it's not too loose, if I didn't have that, the sweater would become super stretched out because this material stretches out very easily. So that gives me a whole lot of comfort when I'm wearing it. Everything's gonna stay put. Food for thought, couldn't recommend this pattern enough. It is so cute. Okay, I'm biased, but I am obsessed with it. Have you made it by chance? And do you also love it as much as I do? It's just a modern, classic style that I think you just cannot go wrong with. Last but not least, let's take it to the first and only dress of this spring clothing extravaganza. This is Butterick 6205. I'll be honest, I was underwhelmed when I originally finished this dress. Now, watch it become my favorite dress. I don't know why though it was so underwhelming. I don't know why I was expecting more from it, but it is a very cute, basic little sundress with the cute little ties at the shoulder. I think there were a couple things that bothered me, and they had to do with my sewing. One was my top stitching. It did not come out as clean, crisp, and pretty as I like for it to. I also used a dark green thread, which matches a lot of that dress, but on those top stitching elements, it probably would have been better if I would have just switched out my thread color to beige. Okay, that's me being so nitpicky. I don't even know if anybody else will notice that, but that bothered me about my finished product. Other than that though, I put it on today and I thought, wow, I love this. I'm definitely gonna wear it a lot. I just don't know why I was so underwhelmed when I first finished it. This is, again, Butterick 6205. It is rated fast and easy. I would definitely agree. Little confusing on inserting the elastic on the front and back, but you kind of end up figuring it out. It's pretty intuitive, but overall, I'm happy with it. And I love that material also from Joann's. Last but not least, my Wildcard project of this past month or two was a bathing suit. Now, I'm not a bathing suit model, so I don't feel comfortable modeling this for you, but rest assured, I love it. I find it to be very comfortable, very cute, and I wore it this past weekend. It hit 70 degrees. Immediately, I went out to the beach, gave the bathing suit a test run. It is stretch glittery Lurex, Lurex fabric, and I don't know what came over me. It was from the Last Chance fabric section of Joann's. I don't know why, but I knew in my heart, I said, this is a bathing suit. I had never in my life heard of a stretch glitter Lurex bathing suit, but I started Googling. Sure enough, there is a wide variety of glitter Lurex bathing suits out there. And so this one to me just fit right into the mix. What I ended up doing is self-drafting, but also using a bathing suit top I loved previously. And I love a Bandeau top. When I go to the beach, I'm all about sunbathing. I know worshiping the sun is not good for your skin, but I figure if I go once a week for a couple hours, get that dose of vitamin D. That's good for you, you know? And I always have my sunscreen on, but I love the beach. It is my happy place. It always has been. I was raised 10 minutes from the most beautiful beach, in my opinion, in the world, in Florida. But now I get to enjoy the beautiful West Coast beaches and in my new bathing suit, okay? It stood the test of laying out for an hour or two. I had no issues with it. Everything was held up. It felt very secure. I actually was able to use, let me see, my Eloflex thread. I know the color is slightly off, but I have 2 of these to match some spandex that I also own that I'm going to make another bathing suit from. Let me talk about this Eloflex real quick. I think that it kind of, it almost has this little bit of a coated feel to it. If you have it, do you agree with me? The texture feels different. It's obviously not, it doesn't feel like cotton. 100% PBT is what it says. But Eloflex is meant to sew up stretchy garments. Now, I really liked it for sewing up the stretchy fabric of that bathing suit. The bathing suit is also fully lined. Let me just put that out there too. And I just used a like a spandex, white spandex to fully line it. I feel like this kind of clogged up my machine. The thread kept breaking after, you know, an hour or 2 of sewing with the Eloflex. I don't know if that coatedness of the thread was getting to it. I'm going to give it a go. I had gone to Joann's this past weekend and noticed that all the thread was 40% off in their closing sale. I just couldn't bring myself to buy another one because I didn't like how it ran through my machine. Tell me what you think. Have you had that experience? I'm wondering if I did something wrong. I tried out all the different thread tensions, used a fresh stretch needle that was the appropriate weight for that fabric. I really don't know what else I could do. I had recently cleaned my machine. It had a ton of lint in it, but I had cleaned it out and it still ran really funky with the Eloflex. But now I've been sewing with cotton thread and the machine is back to running, clipping on through like it's supposed to. So who knows? Share your thoughts if you have any on working with the Eloflex thread. If there's anything that you have found that has been helpful to keep it from getting a little funky in your machine. Okay, you're gonna hear me just kind of express at the end of my videos every now and again my sadness about Joann Fabrics closing. I noticed that several of you commented on my last video how sad you were about it closing. I completely relate and feel the same way. I mean, I've talked about it before. I go off of touch. That's how I kind of pick a lot of my fabrics. And it was so much fun to head to the fabric store, to Joann's, walk around, get inspired, go look at the patterns. I mean, it was such a hub for people who are creative, crafters, people who are makers. I've gone to 2 Joann Fabrics in my relatively close area. One of them, all of the Last Chance fabric completely picked over. The other one, now I don't want to act like I'm making this up, but I swear I started seeing fabric that had previously been on the Last Chance fabric section now being out in the regular fabric that was now only marked down to 20% off. So I know that liquidation, from what I've read and understand, it's a bit of a money grab. Something about the new owners get to pocket all of the financial gains. But I thought, you guys, y'all must be taking me as a fool because I've been up in this Joann's many times and this fabric was previously 60 to 70% off. Now it's full price again, marked down to 20% off. Still, I don't know if my eyes are tricking me. Have you noticed that in your Joann stores? I swear there were at least 2 fabrics. I've seen them for years, at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And most recently, they were on the last chance section. Now they're back out in regular fabrics, only marked down 20% off. So I think I share the same sentiment as many of you based upon, sharing that the sales in your area were not that good yet. I'm waiting. I don't know how much more they're going to mark things off. I don't want to panic buy. There are a lot of great online fabric stores, and maybe that's something I'll put up a community tab. And if you have a great online store that you love to support and shop, you can share it there. In fact, I'll try to do that today in my community tab to see what we can drum up as another great resource. And then I'll share some fabric stores I've become aware of that you can purchase things online. But this is all I have for today. I so appreciate you being here as always, and hope that your sewing projects are going great. I would love to hear what is on your sewing agenda for the spring. If you're gravitating towards tops this year, dresses. My next project is to make a basic white tee. Not the most exciting, but I do need it. And so I cannot wait to whip that up. I've been working on rope bowls endlessly, having so much fun sewing them up. I might even make a full video dedicated on how to make a rope bowl using your scraps, your fabric scraps, if you would be interested in that, and kind of go from there. But happy spring, or almost happy spring. I really hope no matter where you are that you are taking great care of yourself. As always, happy creating and sewing, and be well.